Hey there, Heather Boyd Wire here. Welcome to day 3 of the 10-day beginner wire weaving challenge. I'm calling this a beginner wire weaving challenge because I am actually quite new to wire weaving. I look forward to hearing other tips and tricks along the way from other jewelry makers. I truly believe when we teach, we learn, and I'm so excited about this wire weaving learning journey. Today I'm making a bar style pair of earrings using Chakra colored seed beads. You are going to need the seed beads, and I'm using Beadalon slimline chain nose pliers, the bail making pliers, and the nipper tool from Beadalon. I'm using 20 and 26 gauge artistic wire, and I will link up a tutorial to make your own earring hooks in the description below. So now I'm going to take about 6 inches of 20 gauge wire, and I am going to do a coil at the center point, and depending on the thickness of the wire and the size of your beads, you can coil it about 8 times, give or take. And we just want to make a nice snug coil at the bottom. Then we're going to hold it with the chain nose pliers and bend the wire up on either side of the coil. So hold it firmly, bend the wire straight up, and that's the bottom of your earring. And then we are going to wind the wire around at the side. And we want to do the same on the other side, but we want the wires to end up both coming up at the front. And then we're going to start our weave, winding it a full turn, and then going over to the other side and doing another couple of coils there, and then bring the other wire over. We're kind of alternating, bringing the wire over and doing our coil. So we coil it, go around once, go around twice. So then after that, once we've done a crisscross, we're going to put a seed bead on, and then we're going to put the wires through opposite sides of the seed bead so it will sit nicely in the earring. So we're going to just slowly tug at the wires, bring it down. I always cut my wires a little too long. You can also do this with less beads if you prefer. Here's a diagram of the weaving configuration. You can pause the video and take a screenshot. You see at the bottom, you can start with a slip knot if you prefer, so the wires are on the same side. And we're just going to continue doing our weave after we've added our bead. So we just coil it around a couple of times on one side, give it a little bit of a tug, and then coil it a couple times on the other side above the bead. Make sure your wires are separated there, and then we're going to bring one wire around and coil it to the opposite side. Just bring it around through the wires and then alternating the wires. So bring it to the back and then around through the wires. Give it a little bit of a push and around again. So just going around twice. See, it's woven above the bead in opposite directions. Straighten your wires as you need, and then we can add another bead. So I just did one crisscross above each bead. You can really use your creativity with this design. And we're just going to very carefully pull the wires so they don't get kinked up. And hold it and pull the wires evenly to hold them in place. This design is much easier to do with a thinner wire, so I would go with the 26 gauge wire for this design. And go around a couple of times
And we'll just continue with our pattern. This is a really fun design. You can do any kind of beads you want in there. You can do birthstone beads as well. If you want to make little personalized earrings or pendants, just bring it around. And then the other wire on the other side. Hold it firmly with one hand and continue with your weave. Give it a good little tug. Straighten it out as you need. So we have the wires above the bead again. You can pull it down towards the bottom. If there's too much space, straighten your wires. And then we can add another bead. And put the wire back through the opposite side. And give it a little bit of a tug. Take your time with this part. You don't want the wire to kink up. And now it's securely in place. Straighten the wires. So if you're making earrings, we're going to compare the two to make sure they're the same height. At this point, you can push the weave closer together to match them up. And then we're going to clip the ends of the wrapping wire. From here, I'm just going to do a loop towards the center. Again, comparing them to make sure they're the same height. And I'm using my bail making pliers to create a loop going towards the middle. From there, we can just clip it with the flush cutters or the nipper tool and push in that little pokey end. Adjust it as you need with the chain nose pliers. And then I'm simply going to do another loop underneath that loop so it's got a nice clean finish. Make sure they're lined up. And once they're all lined up, you can clip that end. So we have two loops stacked up together, and we're just going to pinch it so the ends are closed and there's no little scratchy bits. Line them up with your pliers and just check that there's no little bits that are sharp. From there, you can make your own earring hooks. I'll link up some tutorials in the description. Attach the hook through both of those loops, close it up, and there you have your beautiful chakra bar earrings. If you prefer, you can use the cubic zirconia gemstones. You would start your weaving pattern, place the gemstone down, and make sure you wind a wire just above and below the center to hold them in place. I'll put a photo of this in the group.
The challenge starts on November 25th and runs until December 4th. I will be posting video tutorials each day. You can share pictures of your creations from the tutorials in my private 10-day challenges group. If you submit all 10 photos by the deadline, you will be eligible to win great prizes from Beadalon and my Etsy shop. Be sure to join the private Facebook group to participate in the challenge and to check out other viewers' creations. At the end of the challenge, I'll be putting together an ebook which will be available after the challenge is over. Check out all the details in the description below the video. Good luck everybody and have fun with the projects.